Welcome to the Santa Cruz Coffee Break. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcast, please follow, hit the like button, or any subscribes. It really helps us with the algorithms. Santa Cruz Coffee Break is produced by the Santa Cruz Guitar Players Forum. All opinions are those of the speakers. We invite you to join us on the Santa Cruz Guitar Players Forum at SCGCPF for more fun. Now, let's get on with this installment of Santa Cruz Coffee Break. We'd like to welcome everybody to the 59th edition of the Santa Cruz Guitar Players Forum podcast. And today we're going to bring back Brandon Adams for a little review, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what's been going on with his music and with his television show, and what goes on in Virginia goes on in Virginia. So welcome, Brandon.
Hey, well, thanks for having me, Richard. And hey, Tad, what's up, man?
Hey, Brandon. I think the last time we had you on, your TV project was kind of a twinkle in your eye, so to speak, although it was probably a little more advanced than that. Now you're out there big time. Everybody who's into music, I think, should definitely catch up on the series. You've had some great shows, and you're even nominated for an Emmy, which is exciting as heck. Tell us about this journey.
Oh man, well, I guess we can say it started 3 years ago with an idea, and trying to figure out a way to really try my best to play music, at a level that was pleasing to me, and I wanted to keep that going, but we're trying to survive COVID, So I'm like, I got the day job. Everybody's under quarantine, and I'm just brainstorming. And I'd been on some, television shows before, Song of the Mountains and Songs of the Center, and they're both PBS shows. And so I've been on the interview side of things, and for me, it's like, well, I'm a musician, so I know what it's like to get interviewed. But I was like, well, if I were doing a show, what would I do about it? How would I be different? It's not better or worse. It's just whatever you are. It's just the same with music. This is what you are. And so, long story short, called up some friends of mine who are producers of these other television shows, and shot a promo for a Blue Ridge PBS for one of those shows. And then just started talking with the producers. A couple of friends called in a favor and said, yeah, this guy's not a nut. You might, don't think he's crazy or wacky. He's actually legit. He's not selling, he's not selling things out of the back of the truck. Because it's kind of far-fetched. Somebody you don't know or have never met before comes in and shoots a promo and then pitches an idea for a TV series. And we ended up calling it The Life of a Musician. And what I wanted to do, because we've all done music on several different levels or in several different configurations. What I wanted to do with my show was strip it down, make it really basic. Take away the band, take away any glitz and glamour, take away anything that absorbs more space than just a couple of acoustic instruments, and take the songs to their root, because that's the truth. Everything I've ever written always started with just me and my guitar and my voice and my brain and a pen or paper or whatever. And I think that's probably true for just about everybody. Even if you play like a xylophone, it's probably just you in your little room trying to figure out how to make a melody. So that's kind of what I wanted, to do with this show. And so far, so good. Season 1, we are nominated for the best interview and content series. An episode with banjo legend Sammy Sheeler was the one that I think put us over the top on that. However that process. You're talking to an Emmy nominee who has no clue about the I don't know anything. This was so left field that when they said, "Oh, hey, we're going to submit you for an Emmy award," when Blue Ridge PBS told me that, I was like, "Well, that's nice. Well, thanks." And then I would mention it in passing. I had no clue that it was actually, a big deal. It's like, to me, it's like, I've always thought, well, an award, it never entered my mind, that I would actually, and then it got closer and it got closer, and they said, hey, the chances are looking good. Then I was actually, excuse me, filming an episode with an American Idol contestant from a couple of years back named Lauren Massetti. And she's living in Nashville now, doing great things. And the day that Lauren shows up for her filming, I got a call that said, "Guess what? You're officially an Emmy nominee." And it was like, so then it was like, bolt of lightning that absorbed over time, because my brain is still, like, Emmy. Okay, well, and then Emmy, and then it's like, holy, it's an Emmy. So I guess that's the best way I can explain it. It's, kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's wonderful, and it's really great that you're getting that kind of recognition for the work you're doing, because it isn't pop and mainstream and pushing all those kinds of buttons. You find some beautiful locations to shoot from. You have musicians. I mean, I love the fact that you ask about things like tunings and inspiration for songs and such. It's not a sales show. It's really great.
Oh, thanks, man. I really, there's nothing that is not legit, and by legit, I mean, it's just a conversation, and I just kind of go with the conversation. If it's more, I kind of let the artist dictate how they want it to go. Some artists are just, hey, it's almost kind of more like an interview segment. Then other artists are like, we're going doing the backwards and forth, and that's great. But I have no clue what I'm going to say. I have no clue what I'm going to ask. And we don't rehearse the songs until maybe 20 minutes before we do the show. So I want it to be free will, and like, I make so many mistakes while I'm playing some of this stuff, because it's usually like maybe my third time through something I've never really heard much, other than maybe MP3s or whatnot. But it's like, this is what it would be like if X showed up at your house and said, hey, let's jam. But that's kind of, so like the mistakes, I try to really even edit them out. I'm like, you know what, I'm human, so let everybody see me mess up.
Yeah, no, it's the honesty of the music, and it's the just the way it's presented that makes it really attractive to other musicians. It's not, jazzed up and polished up and auto-tuned and whatever else. It feels like you're just jamming with another musician. And the fact that you're so good and the people you're interviewing are so good comes out really well.
Oh, thanks. I only hear my personal mistakes. I can just about, so once we've got it edited, and once we've edited for time, we've done all of that, I watched it to the point that I'm never going to watch it again. So it's like, okay, this is the best I can do, and I never see it again. It's the same like when I record an album. I'll go through the whole process, from start to finish, and listen to it, and go through production and mixing and mastering, and then I'll probably never listen to it again. Because I really just like, to me, it's just about getting it out. And once it's out, it's like, okay, what's the next thing to come out? And I'll probably never play it the same way twice. Have shades of something that was there, but I don't know. I just try to be as organic as possible, and I hope that doesn't sound like a cop out for lazy because
No.
because like I had a buddy tell me one time, he said, well, that just sounds like you're lazy, man. I said, well, I mean, I might play, a pass, hear all those mistakes. I have really no clue what all of those notes were, but I knew where they were. It kind of D, like fifth mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But I mean, you kind of, I love to have options, and I love to not feel like, man, you just have to do it like that every single time. Unless it's like a really prominent melody line, like if you're going to do an instrumental or traditional tune, you should at least in one pass play the melody. And then from there on out, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
I think Wildwood Flower comes to mind, like what a standard, and everybody
Mhm.
plays it the right way, and then they
Right.
go on their own little thing on it. It keeps it fresh, Brandon. It's a great attitude. I wouldn't change that attitude.
I'm too old, and I'm at the point now where it's like, man, it's got to maintain fun so that I keep doing it. As long as it stays fun, like I really just love to play and goof around and find different sounds. And working with the artists on this show is so driving, so inspirational because we had this season season one, we had John Jurgensen and just everybody who's been through has been an inspiration to me personally on some level. Like, you watch John do some of those crazy, artificial harmonics on an acoustic guitar. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I need to start doing some artificial harmonics and goof around with it, like kind of Eddie Van Halen, the acoustic guitar, we had Red Volkert this season in season two. So Red, holy crap, Red's really, really good.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
I
it
think
is.
I totally messed. I think I totally played a complete fret off on like a bar of my solo because I was so busy like watching Red's hands. I'm like, oh crap. But that's how it would be in a jam session. I mean, I do the studio different. Like the studio is like, okay, let's really get it as close to on as possible because that's for posterity. Um, but like if you just jam it, man, it's like the freedom to make a mistake is what it's all about. It's like it's okay if I mess up, so I'm going to stretch what I think I can pull off. And man, when you hit it, it's like man, that was cool. I did that. And the crap, I hope it was recorded because I can't remember what I just did. So that I don't know. I'm a spontaneous kind of person in different situations.
I think authenticity and that always is such a refreshing thing to watch. It just you're drawn into it because you don't go, oh, now we're gonna do this. I've kind of become this weird fan of the Marty Stewart show because
Oh yeah, Mark.
I'm just out of my mind for Kenny Vaughn. He's just to me just unbelievable. And they just had Dwayne Eddy on.
Mhm.
And watching Kenny watch Dwayne was the entire show for me. It was just like
Yeah.
all this, it was this wonderful stuff going on. And you'd see Eddie would do something that was either signature or just unique. And Vaughn would just kind of stand there, and his eyes would bat, and like, whoa, where'd that come from? And it's hokey, it's kind of crazy, but it's live and it's real, and you're just not sure what's gonna happen.
And it's just what you're talking about. And that's big
Yeah,
time Nashville
see,
TV,
that's
buddy.
yeah, it happens all the time, with musicians. It really does, but just putting a camera on it, and somebody's got to be the person that says, you know what, I messed up, but that's okay. Because generally it's not me messing up. I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Generally, it's me messing up, not the guests. Or sometimes it's a little nuance. It's like, some of these songs that we'll do. I will say, I do cheat a little bit. I'll ask the artist, okay, what 3 songs would you like to do? And then they'll send them to me, and I'm like, okay, so I'll kind of do my homework and bone up on that. But some of these stuffs, they'll send me like, a full band song. And the fun challenge is like, okay, so how do we do this with just guitar or just guitar and mandolin? And the exciting thing is we don't know until like right before the show. So there's been some real cool moments where I was like, man, that was just like a mind melt on that particular part. And so I'm having just as much fun as the people watching. Only sometimes I'm like, crap, people are watching this. I'll come out of an episode like, oh man, everybody just basically saw me, stand at the chalkboard with my boxer shorts.
Well, I haven't noticed that specifically, but what do you find? Have there been moments in the show that have really like changed your attitude or your approach or your feeling about a song or a musician or something along those lines? I mean, when you get a chance to do something live with some of these people, that's got to be a new and unique experience as opposed to listening to an MP3 or listening to a fully recorded orchestrated thing. Can you tell us a little about what that's like?
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it gets kind of an emotional, and I got to try at some point to kind of control that emotion enough to kind of find that sweet spot where you're feeling it, but you're not feeling it so much you can't participate. And there have been moments where, like, my buddy Larry Cordell, came and did an episode last year, and Larry and I are basically from the same area in the country, and he did Highway 40 Blues, and I remember listening to Ricky Skaggs, turn that into a #1 hit. And there's that moment where I'm sitting next to the man who wrote the song, and he's asking me to play the solo to Highway 40 Blues. And I'm trying to, I've never done it before. I've never done it in that key for sure. But I'm trying to control the don't let everybody down. And oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing Highway 40 Blues with Larry Cordell. So sometimes it's like, man, hold back the tears and, make it happen. But I've come to the point I'm too old and set in my ways to care anymore. So I was like, here it is. Here it is laid out. It's all there's not been an episode where I haven't learned something, even if it's something like, man, that artist is, wow, so much more deep than maybe the public sees them. Like, they might see this persona of, hey, I'm happy-go-lucky and I'm always smiling. But then you talk about somebody who like reads Hemingway and like really contemplates things very deeply. I'm not really sure. I hope that kind of answers it. I'm not even sure where to go there. But.
Yeah. Well, you're not just a musician on the show. You're also kind of the producer and director and host. And I don't know, there's probably half a dozen other titles you have to carry around with you when you're setting these things up. So that's got to be a huge challenge.
Well, I do have help. We have a director. We have a director who runs the cameras, and my wife is a big help with setting up cameras and taking off a lot of the burden, like she'll do set location, things like that. So I'm definitely not the Lone Ranger. I'm just the face that everybody's seeing. But there's a crew. There's a couple of camera guys and a director. But I'm executive producing along with my wife, and then we've got a producer and a director and a camera guy. So he's got three hats. But so we're Emmy nominated. So I guess we did the first season right. But yeah, there's a ton, man. I mean, I think the biggest learning curve or learn on the fly thing was there's paperwork with this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
well, there's balancing budgets and keeping schedules and spreadsheets and contracts and W-9s and oh crap, we got to make a hotel reservation, and oh crap, did I get that hotel reservation on the right day? I about kind of lost it not too long ago, because I've got Tim O'Brien coming in, which I'm such a huge Tim O'Brien fan. He's been like a huge artist in my life, as long as I can remember. And Tim and I were on the phone, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, so Tim is going to be in town on the 28th of June. We're going to be at the Emmy Awards to see if we won, or we just get the nice little plaque that says we're nominated, which would be awesome. And then okay, I got to be ready for Tim at the 28th. And then Tim and I are on the phone. We're talking about this project and what we might want to do, on the episodes. And so yeah, I mean, good to see you on the 28th. He said 28th. I thought it was the 30th. And I'm thinking to myself, oh crap, trying to turn my alarm clock off there. I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, Tim's coming on the 30th. It just totally slipped my mind. So I'm in panic mode. I come to find out that I had made this hotel reservations on time. I made everything else on time. I got the camera crew ready for the 30th. But in my mind, it was, for some reason, it slipped to the 28th. And I thought, the world is about to end. I have to move heaven and earth to fix 2 days on a schedule. So there's moments like that.
So where do you think, I'm looking down the road. Where do you think this show will allow you to tour more at a different level? Are we on the stairs here?
It's kind of, I played, man. I've played as high and low profile as you can get for decades, couple of decades. Culminating in recording with Tony, and the last album that was put out charted 3 songs on the same chart, and I'm getting to look at, that's my song, that's my song, that's my song, and that's really a crazy great feeling. And I'm honest when I say this, I'd like to tour, but man, I'd only kind of like to do 10 or 15 cool shows and then just kind of work on this show. What I love the most is creating music. I love going into the studio and taking my thoughts as original as I can make them and just record. And then put it out there for people to listen to. The adulation and stuff, like it's never been, man, if I'm standing in front of 5 people or 10,000 people, the thrill for me was always to get the music out. It wasn't so much the numbers, because I didn't care about the numbers, but I'm kind of at the point now where I just want to create music. I don't really have a goal other than I want to get in the studio and record my songs, put them out into the universe, and then write my songs, record my songs, put them out to the universe, maybe do 10 shows. And I'm going to run with this series as long as, as long as it's in the cards to do it. So yeah, we have a responsible adult, plan, an economic plan, and an LLC and a business. So I'm not going about this like I've got my head in the clouds. But as far as musically, my biggest goal is just to record and release, and then do this show, and maybe, man, it would take a lot. Somebody would have to like come up and say, okay, we're going to put you on the show on the road for 50 dates, and we're going to get you, 15 grand a show. As far as taking the TV series on the road, I'm interested in making that happen, but the logistics of that are tremendous.
Oh,
Because you can, I mean, Richard, you definitely got to know what I'm talking about, man. I mean,
it's a fur ball. It's a big honking fur ball, and
yeah, man.
it takes a guy or a person just to spin the plates to keep them up there, and that's all they're focused on, because you take it out of a controlled situation and you're just throwing up everything in the air and seeing where it comes down.
Yeah, exactly.
It will do that.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Like, I know just how much work it is to get one episode out of this show. We do everything in a controlled environment. I can't imagine loading everybody up in a travel van or a bus, and then trying to repeat that process in a different town, in a hotel room, and then add that. Like I said, you'd need exactly what you said. You would have to have somebody that was just their job to do that. I thought about maybe doing it in a limited, say, okay, we're going to go to this city for 3 episodes. I think that might make it easier if you were kind of stationary, for a couple of weeks, instead of trying to make it, okay, we're in Nevada today, and then we're in Los Angeles tomorrow. Or, I don't foresee that as a good working model for what we're doing.
Maybe it's you go to the home or hometown of the artist. So the artist doesn't travel, just you, you and the crew are the travelers. And hard to say. There's a lot of things you could do. Lots of fun to have on that.
Well, absolutely. But then you got to look at your contracts. So where's if it goes to what do your grants say? What do your investors say? Maybe one investor is like, I want to invest in this, and I want to advertise. I should say advertisers. Are your advertisers cool with you jumping to a different city? Are your advertisers cool with you jumping to a different state or a different country? Or if you do that, okay, do you want to get advertisers in that town? So it's all possible if you're willing to just really grind it out and make the phone calls and get the 99 rejections of the one yes.
That raises a point I was wondering about. Now that you've gotten a lot of shows out and recognition for the quality of the shows you're doing, is it easier now when you call people up to try and arrange something? Are people quicker to return your phone calls, or are people reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, man, I'd love to be on the show"?
The awesome thing is I hope this doesn't sound like a brag, but the truth is it's mostly been artists coming to me, because I know a lot of the artists already who've been on the show. I've been tagging my friends, or people I've worked with before. But this year, Tim O'Brien and John Cowan and Aoife O'Donovan, we have friends in common, plenty of friends in common. We didn't really know each other. But everybody else, I've known them, on some level at some time. I just kind of take it as it comes. I just try to adjust to the situation. Yeah, to answer your question, it has been easy. But for me, what's made it easier is now some things are automatic. Okay, cool. We got that. We got the contract. Okay, now book this, book that, book this, book that. We're done. Where season one, we were just figuring out a model to how to make it work. So logistically, everything's gotten easy.
You've established a kind of a rhythm for the production.
Yeah, that was definitely that has been if you want an honest answer, that has been the biggest stress reliever is okay, we're used to it now. We're used to the schedule and what it's going to be like and what the day is going to be like. And that's been really nice. Um, and that just means now that I'm comfortable with it, I have to throw a monkey wrench in it and figure out some way to mess it up. So
as Neil Young says, every time I think I'm getting somewhere, I try to drive the truck into the ditch.
yeah.
Just to see what happens. Brandon, this is so exciting because you've matured so much over the course of since the last podcast. I mean, just listening to you talk, and I can where there was a tension in your voice and kind of an unknowing. Now that you've kind of walked through the fire, I mean, it's fantastic. I made this go 20 seasons.
Oh,
May you have an unbelievable night later this month, and then let's go 20 seasons, huh?
I'm kind of down with it, that happening right now, but maybe 10 seasons in, I'm like, hey, Richard, you want to come host this show? I'm kind of, Tad could be like a co-host, and you guys all step behind the scenes. Right now, man, it's really awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm getting to make music with like some of the best musicians, period. Um,
What a great
so right now, man,
what a great
we're paying
success.
the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me smile. Really. What a great
Well,
success.
thank you.
What a
Thanks,
what a great success. Tad, you got anything we want to wrap him up here and let him get on with his day?
Yeah, I think we have to thank you for coming on and talking to us again, and do extend our best wishes to your wife and your crew. They've been doing a great job. I didn't realize your wife was responsible for choosing the locations, and she's made some great choices. Some of those places are truly amazing.
Yeah.
So we wish you all the best, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed for you. Trouble with winning too many of those Emmys is you're going to have to just keep getting a bigger and bigger guitar case to hold them all. So,
well,
man, I honestly, I swear this is so corny. I know but I really feel like, man, I've already won. Like, because for the rest of my life, if nothing else, I could say I'm an Emmy nominee. So it's like, man, I can just carry that around, and it doesn't even feel like a consolation prize. It's like, this is awesome. I'm an Emmy nominee.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I'm going about it. We'll take a lot of pictures. I'm going to wear a tuxedo, and then I'm going to burn it. Go back to what we're doing, and just try not to think about all that other stuff.
How about some cool shoes?
There you go.
Yeah. Get some really cool shoes for it. And
good idea.
Wish you the best of the afternoon. Thanks so much for doing this again. We know that our watchers and our Santa Cruz guitar owner players and all that stuff are just going to be so energized by this, because this is just, it's so much different than it was. Sorry, my dog's right behind me slapping her. it's such a great story, and it's a great story because it's coming from your heart. You know, there's nothing contrived about it. It's you, and you're doing it the way you want to do it. And Godspeed, brother. Go forward.
Bless you, man. Thanks, guys. I mean, God, I love being a part of the Santa Cruz family, like, because it's like really a family, awesome people. You, Tad, Will, Joshua, Richard, Kevin Sills, love you, girl. So this is awesome. I mean, this is kind of like, even when I was kind of down on myself, it's like, man, the guys at Santa Cruz and the gals at Santa Cruz, they believe in me, believe in yourself. So thank you guys. I'm grateful and always will be. I really appreciate it.
We're gonna give you the afternoon off, and we're gonna dial back in and find out what happened. Okay.
Definitely, man. I'll definitely keep you. If your cell phone rings at 5 a.m., hey.
We're
It'll be exciting. So thanks so much, and have a great afternoon.
Hey, you guys too. Thanks a ton.
Be well.
Be well, guys.
We hope you enjoyed this installment of the Santa Cruz Coffee Break. For more music-related fun, please join the Santa Cruz Guitar Players Forum at SCGCPF or santacruzguitarplayers.com. If you have any questions or possible podcast topics, please contact us. If you have a product or service that you feel would be of value to our listeners, please consider adding your support and keeping the coffee pot on. Contact us for more information. We ask that you hit the like, follow, bell, or bookmark buttons so we can keep you informed of upcoming podcast episodes. We hope you enjoyed Santa Cruz Coffee Break. Now it's time to go play your guitar.